Okay, as you can see, there is a very famous media quote there by Malcolm X for you to have a little read. So welcome to GCSE Media Studies. My name is Lauren Stoneman. I'm the subject leader for Media Studies. My email address is just on that PowerPoint slide there if you wish to get in contact with me. So the aims of the course, it's to encourage learners to develop their creative, analytical and communication skills and have a critical understanding of the media through exploring a range of different forms and perspectives. I'm going to be going into a few of those today for you. So learners that choose this course will demonstrate their ability to recall information. They will need to draw together information from different areas of the specification. There's lots of different media products covering depth and breadth. They will also need to apply their knowledge and understanding in practical and theoretical contexts. So there's a lot of media theory on this course, which they'll then need to link and apply to across a range of different media products. They will also need to be analysing and comparing how media products construct and communicate meaning. There's lots of unseen text, so they will need to be equipped with analysing things on a whim and generating intended interpretations and responses, so making judgments and conclusions based on what they've seen. They will need to respond through discursive writing to show knowledge and understanding of media issues. So there is lots of extended writing on this course and also some debates, as you would expect. So what will be covered? So across the 3-year GCSE, there'll be 18 CSPs, close study products, that we study within a theoretical framework. So we look at audience, language, representation, institution, and lots of those media theories that are also studied if they want to take it on to A-level. But obviously that's quite far in the future there. As an English teacher, I teach both English and media. Media Studies complements GCSE English extremely well. There's a lot of analytical skills which cover and cross over and are required for both of the courses. Here's just a few examples of some of the topics and the products that we look at. So we look at the 1950s Omo advert. Some of you may have been familiar with that advert. And we look at doing a semiotic analysis of this, really exploring the deeper meanings and how the advert's been constructed to communicate different meanings. And we also look at representation. We also look at film industries. So we look at the industries behind blockbusters versus independent films. We do watch these films, but we're not looking at them through a media lens. We're looking at the industries behind them, their funding, how they were distributed, and those sorts of things. There are lots of enrichment opportunities that I like to embed across the 3 years. Obviously, because of COVID, some of these are a little bit restricted, but some can still be done online. So we have often and then previously taken the students to London, to the BFI. And just last year, we were in touch with Earls Coombe Tennis Club, where Year 9 learners were able to create marketing produce for this small tennis club, which they were really excited to do. And people from the tennis club came in and advertised and promoted this real life experience, which learners then had to do lots of creating and practical stuff in class. So this only took sort of 3 or 4 lessons, but learners absolutely loved creating a product for a real life, authentic experience. We also look at the NHS Blood and Transplant online campaign, particularly with representation. So we look at race, ethnic minority groups, and how these are represented in the media. So it covers lots and lots of different topics. We also look at radio, we look at pirate radio, how radio has changed, how the development of radio has changed, how the culture of radio has changed, and we compare that with more recent radio products. And if this was live, I would just show you a couple of clips there. So the 3-year overview in Year 9, it's an introduction to the course, but we cover a lot of the key concepts, lots of the media theories, and we study these theories and concepts through different media texts, some exciting, rigorous, topical texts, which that will help to enhance their understanding of media as they go into Year 10, Year 11, and hopefully be able to apply those theories and those concepts in a more deeper and extended level. We look at newspapers, political ideologies. We look at certain parts of the exam paper and how to tackle those. We look at newspapers, advertising and marketing. We look at film genre. So it's a really good platform in Year 9 to ensure they've got a good foundation and understanding of the course before they even get into Year 10, Year 11. When we reach Year 10, we do lots of practice of the coursework, which I'll go on to in a second. We start looking at those close study products in more detail. So the OMAM advert, we look at Galaxy, NHS advert, we look at radio, online media, video games. And when they reach Year 11, we do the official non-exam assessment, which is worth 30%. I'll talk about that in a second. We look at more in-depth studies such as TV and newspapers from the exam board, and then it leaves us a little bit of time for revision. So they will cover a broad range of media terms, so lots of breadth and depth on the course there. So learners will be assessed via 2 examinations, Media Exam 1 and Media Exam 2. Both of them are 1 hour and 30 minutes, and they both equal to 35% with 84 marks in each. Each exam focuses on a different area of the theoretical framework. They are then assessed on a non-exam assessment, which is worth 30%, and they have to write a statement of intent and create a product in response to an exam brief that the exam board give us, and this changes every year. This is worth 60 marks in total, and it equates to 30% of their GCSE. So you have 70% examination and 30% non-exam assessment. Now, the non-exam assessment does require independent skills, independent thinking and creativity. Obviously, this is an assessment that the teacher can't interfere with, and it's all done on the learner's research, pre-production, planning and production. So in media studies, in terms of assessments, we mark midterm assessments, so once every 3 weeks, in terms of a main assessment, and then half-termly assessments. So they will have at least 1, if not 2, grades and assessed pieces per term. So they will have obviously other marking, so we will mark in between that, but they will have a grades or a mark at least twice within that assessment. And as you can see, this is just an example of my tracking where I have tracked sort of green, red, and whether they're expected or below expected grade. So we have a really fine tracking of learners' progress within media studies, and we can know exactly whether they're on target, below target, and this will help us to inform parents, reports, or have these discussions with learners. If you wish to have a look at the content of the course, you can do this on the AQA website. Everything is there for you, and I'm more than happy to forward you a link should you need to. I've just put on the end of here some examples of different exam questions. We've got a few sort of 2-marker, 6-marker semiotic analysis questions, and they do put in lots of 20-marker questions, which is sort of lots of discursive writing, extended writing, so they're going to need to be good at practicing the skills in order to give their own judgment, conclusions and support with evidence within these assessments, within these questions, this criteria. Here are some more examples of 20-marker questions, should you want to have a little further look. For example, we look at politics in newspapers, and we look at left-wing and right-wing, and whether newspapers have been strongly influenced by big media moguls and the control of these organisations. And we look at in-depth studies of different newspapers. So there's lots of debate and lots of discussions that link to real life experiences. This is some examples. This is a grade 9 example of a non-exam assessment. So as you can see, it's very professional. This was created by a learner last year. They had to make a magazine front cover and linked inside story. Some examples from last year. So as I said earlier, the brief changes year on year. So these are some examples of newspapers. And then helping to grow your community through advertising. This is an example of a statement of intent that learners would need to write independently. And lastly, where can GCSE Media Studies take learners? There's lots of courses at the Culture to Sixth Form, AS and A-level courses, which are hugely popular. Lots and lots of my learners over the years and years that I've been teaching this subject, many of them go on to A-levels at the sixth form, choosing media studies. It's really nice actually. Lots of siblings join this course due to the positive experiences that their elder brothers and sisters have had, which is really nice. Lots of learners then go off to the Cultures to Institute. They have a film and television, interactive media and games courses, and then that follows them on to undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. So what would media studies help learners to do in the future? So if they're interested in a career in journalism, radio, TV, web design, advertising, then this is definitely a really good platform and starting point for them to choose as their GCSE. And lastly, what they're expected to do. They are expected to work independently. They are expected to communicate and discuss ideas as a class in the open and form judgments and make conclusions. They are expected to analyse and question why things have been created like that. We have got lots of extended writing and they need to be creative. So this course it's a new specification. Well, this is probably the third year actually. And it's a lot more rigorous. There's a lot more content. So they need to be prepared for that. Brilliant. Lovely. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me on my email address. Thank you very much.